Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing very well. Today a quick tutorial showing you how to install DCS Simple Radio Standalone, SRS. This is a thing we use to emulate real radio communications in DCS world. We'll start here at dcssimpleradio.com. I'll show you the link in the video description. Download latest release. Scroll down, the latest release will be here. The number for you will probably be different, otherwise everything will be the same. Let's click on it there. It's going to download here. Let it finish. Open that up. Show in folder. Okay, there it is. I'm going to open that up. Now, some people can install directly from the zip folder. Some people can't. I am one that can't. So what I'm going to do once I'm in the zip folder is grab him there. Then hold down shift and left click there to grab all of them. Then right click copy. And I'm going to copy those guys. I'm going to put them in a temporary folder on my desktop. It's just a solution that some people have to use. On my desktop here, right click new folder temp SRS, go into temp SRS, right click, paste, and that's the installation files. Let them populate. From here, I'm going to click the installer. Step 1, pick the install location. It's automatically chosen C drive, program files, DCS Simple Radio Standalone. If at all possible, I would suggest leaving that exactly as it is, only change it if you have to. Next, we have to locate where our saved games folder is. It's had a guess that it is C drive uses Jonat saved games. That's incorrect. It used to be there, but it's not anymore. Locate Steam. Just put it in here because I've run out of disk space everywhere else. Save games, and that's it there. Tick box. Install DCS client scripts. Only required for SRS client, not server only installs. And yes, you should make sure that is clicked there. You will need the scripts. Note you can also remove DCS SRS through here, but we're not going to do that. So I'm going to install/update. Off we go. Okay, so I can now delete my temporary folder that I put on the desktop. Let's get rid of that. Okay, let's go through to the desktop again and we'll see a link come up. Here it is. Enter. Let's have a look at some of our options. General, we'll come back to this. Controls first of all. There are various ways that you can do this. I've just kept it as simple as I possibly can. There are only 2 of the radios that I'm ever going to need to actually use a PTT, a push to talk with, and I've assigned it to radio 1 and a radio 2. You can put them on your keyboard or your HOTAS or whatever. I put them on my HOTAS and I've set radio 1 to button 3. So let me just set that again. I could clear that. I could set that. And that's button 3. I could clear that and I could set that. That's button 4. The way I would do this is I would press and hold button 4 to get radio 2 to transmit. And the same thing with button 3 for radio 1. Next, settings. Various settings you can have where you can change the realism, etc. How it sounds. I'm not going to go through every setting, so if you want, you can just freeze frame this and have a look at my settings. I'll just scroll up. The only super important one I want to show is this one here. Auto connect and auto connect prompt. We have the ability to automatically connect to a server once you join a multiplayer server. That will only work if the server is set up for auto connection, and we'll go through that in a bit. Next, general and manual connection. You'll need to set up your microphone, and I'm going to set mine up now. Test, 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 test. Not that one. How about this one? Test, test, test. Test, 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 test. Yep, so default microphone it is for me. Speakers are going to be default speakers. That's going to be correct. And we don't want anything here. Speaker boost is something you'll probably want to play with. Most of the times, as standard, the sound seems to be too loud or too quiet. 20 dB seems to work for me. Test, test, test. You can see what it's outputting there. Just make sure it's not peaking up here, otherwise you'll deafen everyone. Next is your method to manually connect to a server. To manually join to a server, you'll need to know either the IP or the domain name. Here's the one I've done earlier. You literally delete that and type the IP in. Where do you get the IP from? We're going to see that in a bit. Once you've got that IP, let me just choose one. This one here that I know works. Note you may have to put the port number in. If you do need to put it in, it will be specified when you get the IP. I'm going to connect to that, and it's connected. There are 4, if you like, levels of connection. 1 is that you're connected to the server. 2 is that you're via IP. 3 is that you've got the game connected. And 4 is optional for lot ATC. We're connected to the server manually. Now let's go and have a look at the server settings, which are quite important. So it shows server settings. Move it out here. Here are the various settings of the server. Probably the most important for the time being is going to be coalition security, which is on, and we'll come back to that. Next are the overlays. These are the actual virtual representations of the radios themselves. Toggle radio overlay, this is the primary one or the main one. There are 3 possible radios in here. At the moment it's not hooked up to DCS, it's not hooked up to an aeroplane, so it's just going to show blank. But you'll see later, once we get in our aeroplane, we populate our actual radios in our aeroplane. These will be our representations of the radio in the F-15, the F-16 or whatever, and we'll show how to use them. If you wanted more than 3 radios in, for instance, the role of a GCI and AWACS, you can click toggle AWACS overlay. This is an expanded version where you can have up to 10 different radio frequencies, and this would be useful for instance, a human AWACS. Next is the EAM coalition. This is coalition security. In DCS, generally speaking, you have a blue coalition and a red coalition. So for instance, let's say you wanted the blue guys on the blue side to only be able to tune in to blue frequencies and not be able to listen into red frequencies. So it's a bit like encryption, if you like. Then we have to set our password or our key here. So if we go back to the server settings, we can see that coalition security is on. So it will work in this case. You have to type in the password for that coalition for that particular server. This is my server basically, so I know it off by heart. The blue is going to be blue. I type in blue there. I can connect to external AWACS mode as it's known. I've now connected. So now on this server, I am connected to the blue coalition. So even if I typed in here, the frequency for one of the red planes, I wouldn't be able to listen because I wouldn't be able to decipher it. Okay, we'll turn that off for now. At the bottom is a Patreon where we can support SiriBob, and that is, in a nutshell, the basic features you're going to need. Next, let's jump into DCS on a random server, multiplayer server. I'll have RC at the other side and show you how to use it and how to actually talk to each other. Okay, in game now, I'm going to go to multiplayer. I'm going to be your average gamer going to join a random server. I'm going to join this one. German, low ping, buddy spike, blue flag, Syria, modern. If I look down here in the options, I can see that SRS will auto connect on joining a slot. So we'll get to try the auto connect function. Make sure SRS is running and obviously has the auto command options on, auto join options on, like I said. If we wanted to join manually, you've got a domain that you could have there. So let's just try joining and see what happens. Stand by. And you can see I've got a prompt here. Would you like to auto connect it? DCS, SRS, buddy spike, yes. Okay, you can see that's connected. We've got the server, waiting for VoIP and the game, which should come shortly, hopefully. Stand by. Okay, so let's try this F5 on red. Should do. Nice, easy radio. I'm just going to do something that I require for this particular server. Join the red coalition and join the red guy there. Okay, let's just load up the cockpit. So here's our main screen. We can see we're connected. We're going to toggle our radio. What we've got here is an ARC 164. That's the name of the radio. That radio there in this F5, and that frequency there, volume, etc. will be controlled from our radio panel in our F5. Our F5 only has that radio. Other planes have more, but this only has that one there. To make the game just a bit more usable, the SRS server that's set up has the option to fill in any extra radios to make them completely virtual. So because it's got that option set, it's automatically filled out that radio and that radio. Make-believe radio 2, make-believe radio 3 here. Whichever I want, I could control from these buttons here to change the frequency. If I wanted, I can also, out of interest, change the volume. I could also remove guard monitoring with right click, put guard monitoring back on. But we're going to look at this one here that we're going to control from our cockpit. So we're going to turn our battery on, which is that guy there. Turn our radio on, which is going to be that guy there, I think. And then we can tune in our frequency here to, and you can see the frequencies changing here. Now we need to know which frequency to talk on, so if I were to press left Alt and Bravo, we can see our briefing here, and let's see if it has some useful frequencies for us. And we can see we've got ATC, we've got GCI, so let's have a go on ATC, see if we can contact someone on ATC. So 124, back to the cockpit, we're going to go ping, yes that will work, won't it? 2, 4. So we're set up to 124. We can see that we've got one person here, other than myself, on this channel at the moment. So we're going to have a word. We're going to push and hold the push to talk button that we set up for Radio 1. Comms check, comms check. Any Grim Reapers on 124?
Cap, yes, Gary here. I can hear you loud and clear.
Thank you, Gary. I'm going to try tuning in to the same freak on a different radio. Stand by. That's just Gary we've got in there just to help us out.
Copy that.
You can see here on 251 we've got 9 guys, probably other general public server guys. I'm not going to disturb them though because they're busy shooting stuff down. So if we scramble that, scrambled that, and we go to our virtual radio 2, get off guard monitoring, and this may take a second to fix, so stand by. 1, 2, 4. I'm going to push to talk for radio 2 now. Com check, Gary on 124 on a different radio.
Yes, Cappy. Sorry, Cap. Still have you on 124 there.
Lovely job. Thank you very much, Gary. You are dispatched with. So that's showing how we can...
Thank you, Cap. You have a good one.
That's how we can join a public server, how we can hook up to that public server manually or automatically, how we can use a solid script radio in here, or if we don't have that, we can use a virtual radio that can be added on with an option. We can use that to talk to people, and that's all I've got to show. I hope that was useful, and see you later.